Hi, thank you for joining me. You're greatly appreciated. Woo! I am excited to discuss this topic. Not that I'm not any other, but whoa, this one just hit home recently. So I'm going to read the verse first and then I'll explain. Proverbs chapter 1, verse 17, KJV. Surely in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird. And I did a short and someone commented this verse on one of the shorts. And I was like, oh yeah, I like that. I'm going to use it. And it applied to, I used it in another video that I did. And I talked about, how it was a reminder. Oh yeah, I need to feed the birds because I said I was going to start feeding the birds. Whoa, that wasn't the only reminder. I literally had to watch for traps and run from sin. Woo. So the past couple days, there was a couple things that came up, and I'm not sure if this is happening for some of you, so I just wanted to come on here and remind you guys to be aware, because as we grow, I said, I started on the umbilical cord, then went to the milk. Now we're heading to the meat. And some of you may be on the umbilical cord, some of you may be on the milk, some of you may be on the meat. We're all at different, levels. And when new levels, new devils, let me tell you guys. So I had 2 incidents back to back that I had to watch for that trap, run from that sin. And I'm just wondering if some of you are going through that at this time. And man, I'm proud of you if you did make it through it. And a lot of people say God tests us, but God told me He does not test us. God does not test us. The enemy tests us. The universe will test us. But God told me He does not test us. And so I was just tested back to back and then had another encounter right after. So the first one was exes from, my goodness, my teenage years that I have blocked, that I have tried to be as kind as possible to say, give them well wishes and say take care and goodbye and I'm not interested, etc., right? But the old me would have said, oh, they deserve a chance. No one's perfect, I see potential. And I'm not saying that you can't still give people grace and chances, but there does come a point where you learn with discernment and wisdom when we pray for it, and God gives it to us, where you learn that you can love them from afar, love them from afar. So I had those 2 situations come up back to back. And I've blocked. One called, restricted. The other one called from another number. I didn't pick up. Something told me not to pick up. But I knew. Then the messages came through and I knew, okay, thank goodness. And some of you may be going through this too. You may be getting these tests coming in to see if you're ready to move forward, if you've learned your lessons. And then I had an encounter, we'll call it. And that kind of triggered me, something that triggered me. Showed me that I still had some work and healing to keep working on. And I'm just wondering if some of you are going through these symptoms, or whoever may view these videos at this time may be going through some of these symptoms. So just to be aware. That way we don't get caught in the snare. Let's be aware so we don't get caught in that snare. And I literally ran from one of them. Literally. So it was so crazy how it's just So crazy how that was brought up, and then it was like caution, warning, pay attention, for these things that I recently went through. So some of you may be going through this and having things trigger you. And there are things that we need to still work on and heal, because it's getting closer and closer to that time where we're moving up to the next level. We're going to be put in the front and center. We're going to have to deal with these things head on. It might be preparing us for what's coming next, either in the sense of having to deal with these people face to face, so that we're more prepared, we're more strong, we've healed from the situations. And we really need to work on letting go of all that negative energy and feelings, so that we can move on to the next level. So that was, I'm glad that I was watching for the traps. I mean, I wasn't, but I'm glad that I had that in my mindset, so that I didn't go back to the old me who wants to always help everyone. And I'm not saying don't help people. I'm just saying sometimes you got to love people from afar, And when I say like we got to forgive these people, doesn't mean that, we forgive them and let them back in our lives. You got to forgive. Sometimes you just got to forgive them and move on, It's like when I say forgive, I don't mean forgive and like condone what they did or make excuses for what they did. No, not at all. But we got to be able to forgive to move forward. And I know a lot of us are ready to move forward. And so I hope this just encourages those of you that are watching to be aware and pay attention, because some of these things might already have come in for some of you, or might be coming in for some of you. That way you don't get caught in the snare. And it's okay to still have feelings and love that person, but it's better to love them from afar. If it's meant to be to come back to you, God will give you those signs. He won't be giving you caution and warning signs. And another thing is to pay attention to what's coming to you, and make sure that it's from God and not from the enemy. There's God, your thoughts, and the enemy's. So always make sure that it's, lines up with the things that God's told you, or if it's confusing. Like the enemy was sending me some stuff, and it had me in confusion for a minute, because I was like, this isn't what God told me or told me to do. And it was just the enemy trying to hinder me or delay me or derail me, so I can keep going in that cycle, keep going on that cycle, that merry-go-round. And to get me to go back to some of the things that I used to do, or go back to some of the people that I may have in the past given lots of chances to. So I just came on here to kind of give you guys like a heads up to please pay attention, watch for traps and run from sin. Please pay attention to the signs that God's giving you, because he's warning us all the time, cautioning us, encouraging us. He's giving us signs depending on our circumstances all the time. And luckily I caught him. I'm thankful. A lot of you may have those narcissists coming back, and those energy vampires may be trying to come right back into your life and suck you dry again. And please don't do it again, because it's just going to set you back, and it's just going to delay your progress and your healing. It's just going to delay you from moving forward and being open to the things that God's trying to do and is going to do. It will be done anyway. It just delay it. But it can delay some of the things that God's trying to prepare and plan and get you ready for and start and put in your life. So please pay attention, be vigilant, and watch for traps and run from sin. Thank you so much for joining me. You're so greatly appreciated. Prayers and blessings to all. Bye.